in defense of a, quote, controversial statement, a now reprimanded employee, who may not have deserved it, printed a prank receipt for a friend. The controversial statement, however, auto-saved and repeated on more receipts. Many or few, we don't have any details. And Lord knows the news isn't going to give us details because they went out of their way to tease at what the receipt looked like and not give you all of it. The statement was the highway nearby needs more overpasses. It didn't actually say that last part, and I'm not saying which highway, because that's not the relevant point. I'm going to read some details from the receipt itself. And yes, I'm going to be critiquing people. If you're taking a picture of a piece of paper, take your manicured fingers out of the view, image it full size, and then turn your camera, zoom in on each part, and then do each part if you want to do details. Don't do it like a dramatic dun-dun-dun punchline image. Hold, please, while I read it back. Name of company, address, city, state, zip code, phone number. Then it said something invoice, I'm assuming customer invoice. Then it says fountain drink, $1.49, subtotal $1.49, no tax, no fee, total sale $1.49, EBT snap $1.49. We're going to pause for a second. That means that this transaction accessed the credit card transaction system for a transaction going through a company that does this, that has to sign a piece of paper that involves $10,000 fine and 10-year prison sentences for making mistakes, much less doing something stupid on purpose. Because EBT goes through the federal system as well as your state. Yes, I know some of you are going to correct me on it. No, in order for it to do a food stamp card, it has to be able to do federal as well as state. It has to comply. You already know I'm not criticizing a cashier that was able to do this for something at the bottom. Literally every news source cut off the part of. Because a bunch of us geeks noticed this. Change $0. Then on this receipt, that is the customer's version, it's supposed to have a bunch of personally identifiable data, basically. It said EBT SNAP, a 4-digit number, authorization code, 6 digits, entry type swiped, which means it wasn't just presented to it, and it wasn't run into the chip reader, it was swiped, because depending on where you are, if you have one of these gift card-like EBT cards, guess what? Gift cards have to go through the same federally controlled system. It only had a stripe. ECRID, which I'm going to put the definitions for these below in the description. It's not relevant to our discussion. 3 digits, then a long string of codes. Then it said cash benefit balance, 0. You don't have cash rights. Food stamp balance, overtly stated, $300.86. And then sold items, 1. And then it says thank you and the default statement on the receipt. And then under it, by somebody hitting enter at least once, probably twice, local highway needs more overpasses. It actually said something else. This was a joke between two people. It was never meant to be put on receipts. It has nothing to do with anything other than a person doing an inappropriate joke to make someone laugh by making them uncomfortable a bit. It's like me joking about anything biological when I'm over 50. Yes, it's inappropriate, but I'm not broadcasting it to a bunch of receipt printouts. How did it get to be the next set of receipts? Let's move on. Then we have the barcode, which may or may not be important. It looks like code 39. Don't ask. I really was taught in college how to read barcode visually and write it out. Don't get me started. UPC is really hard to do, by the way. And no, it doesn't say 666 in the goddamn receipt. It just doesn't. One short and one long are minimum to be able to figure out pulse width modulation version of the data being fed in. If you don't know what I just said, you're not qualified to discuss that stupid 666 bullshit. Your cashier, space, space, colon, space, space, capital A administrator. Then terminal, space, colon, space, space, whatever, 44,900. Then it put in the month, day, century, year version of the timestamp. I'll shut up, but seriously stop doing that. And then 0453 p.m. and then pound sign 208, probably the 208th receipt of the day. Now, and this may or may not be at the end of the person's shift. Where is it? But they corrected the problem. Everything's fine. It still says it's running with administrator privileges now. Not that I met the person involved. I definitely did not do that. Don't bother filing a court case. Any of you who knows why a Windows 10 computer shouldn't have anything running in administrator mode that connects to the internet and handles credit cards, any of you don't understand that? Stop talking. Point of Sale Terminal, or POS, software by National Retail Solutions, or NRS Purple. Point of Sale software. The template for the receipt was edited, only way it could be, in administrator mode or admin mode. NRS, National Retail Solutions, by default, has the system running around in administrator mode for running your credit cards on a Windows machine that's using the latest version of the operating system, which means it's got the least likelihood of being completely patched against every internal bug. Running it on XP guarantees it doesn't have any damn bugs unless your software is at fault. Running it on Windows 7, same damn thing. There aren't any bugs left. Well, there are. But they're well known and you can just dial them out. Microsoft Corporation not being willing to update it to Windows 7 Black Edition, which is a community-created version of Windows that doesn't have any backdoors left in it, or Windows XP Hacker Edition, that's what we called it, because it literally worked correctly. Those were, well, we don't support those. Why not? Is it because you don't have plausible deniability when your software is released with administrator privileges by default? This is called a template in a point-of-sale terminal. I've written point-of-sale terminal software from scratch in binary. Literally as a bootable image off the hard drive. It didn't run an operating system. It was the operating system. It was not able to be broken into like this. Why? Because the administrator machine had administrator privileges in it. This says it's a networked set of up to 44,000 fucking terminals. It obviously isn't. It's probably much, much smaller, like maybe 50 or something. But the point is, one terminal in the back behind a locked door that's only supposed to be unlocked when you're sitting at the machine and you log out, so it's got that stupid screen up that says type in your password. That one should be the administrator mode machine to edit continually the template. This got saved by the software. Somebody could have clicked yes. You know how those dialog boxes come up over and over again? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Would you like to save? Are you sure? Are you sure? Would you like me to format the drive and destroy the whole network and run the business out of business? Sure. Huh? What did I just click? So, was this done deliberately? This was a prank done to one person. That's what we've been told. That's all we got. Then again, these are the news sources that neglected to show the bottom of it, except by accident on YouTube, where it showed that it was in administrator mode. You gave administrator privileges to the software, and surprise Pikachu face, something went wrong. It's still on the fucking receipt. I could walk into the place while someone's off, taking a leak and do, let me explain this, in administrator mode on a networked system. Not a local network, but a network-wide administrator account. Let's dream a little dream. Let's say I'm an angry employee and I work at Walmart. And some nitwit somewhere for doing inventory left it in administrator mode on Windows 10 of all things. Okay, fine. You're begging for this. Oh, you're going to fire me. Oh, because someone complained because I didn't kiss their ass enough. Walmart employee modes. Walmart problems. I'm not going to steal the money because that's actually a federal offense. These pieces of paper can be treated as a contract, but they're not necessarily a contract. Don't forget that. Don't ask. I'll get that in a minute. So let's say I was angry at Walmart or whoever fired me. Let's say it was Amazon. Let's make this really, literally U.S. economy destroying level fucked up. And let's say I sideloaded because I have administrator privileges because some dumbass didn't know what they were doing at National Retail Solutions. And I decided to charge back every single transaction from this moment backwards, as far back as the system could do it, on every system because I have administrator privileges across literally millions of computers, some of which are in foreign countries. Because I have administrator access at network level. Network level administrator access is literally you're only supposed to be able to do it from a single computer point. And let me explain why this might have happened. But imagine me doing that. Bezos would be out of business. Because the receipt all of you got is not a contract. It just says, you'll notice this on all your receipts, cardholder agrees to pay the stated amount. Because there's a delay to it, right? Well, no. It's if it screws up, they still have to pay. The transaction is a contract to pay it. Period. People have been able to do demands that they have things charged back, and the company shows up, this is a receipt saying they agree to pay it, period. If they keep the product, they have to pay. If they don't keep the product, they don't. Real simple. People try to get away with stuff. Why would someone be able to edit this? Boilerplate copy from my lawyer. This receipt is an overt contract that must be signed below a line, literally a bunch of dashes, underscores. Do you agree not to sue this company in exchange for what this transaction represents is compensation for any wrongdoing? I make them read it. Someone comes in, has a slip and fall incident on a carpeted floor at a computer shop. Yes, that happened, and he wasn't allowed in anymore. And he did this at every company he could. He specifically did it on carpeted floors because he thought it was funny. Because going into a courtroom, he knew he was going to lose, but he got to mess with the court. He came in with a monitor that he dropped. It broke. It really broke. It broke off the back of it on the jug, as we call it. The electron gun. It was broken in the first place. I knew that because he bought it broken. I had the receipts for it. Well, I demand compensation. Well, best I can do, like out of the meme, best I can do is a duplicate that actually works. Now, the only thing is he bought a broken monitor to do this with, but now he would have a working monitor and can make a fast $5 by selling it at a pawn shop. So he agreed to it. I made him read it out verbatim while I recorded him. He then filed a court case later, and I said, for purposes of expediency, does the plaintiff versus respondent agree that this is a bona fide, you have to use that wording apparently, contract, and he signed it. In order for him to claim he was there for the time and date stamp, he had to agree that he was there and there was a transaction at the time. And the judge said, don't do that. He said, okay. Now that's an example of something I would insert. Yes, I won the case because he actually agreed not to sue us, so he couldn't sue us. But the point is, that's where you put in something like, oh, this is a chargeback or it's a courtesy thing or whatever, for whatever you have to type at the moment. But you don't have admin access because then it will save it as the default behavior like we're just seeing. He could have just slipped over the mouse instead of OK or cancel for save. He might have said OK by accident, or it might have highlighted and he hit enter, which is what everybody does. All of you have done this. Do I blame the person who did a joke and handed it off to a friend, or do I blame the software that made it to where this could proliferate as badly as a virus to potentially that market or every other one? Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with it.